I've got so much stuff to show you in this video. This is basically all the things that I've accumulated since I moved into this house or just before, so there is a lot to get through. So you might remember a while ago that a company called Archives made this frame for me, and I showed off some of the other things that they make and linked to their store. Well, I actually commissioned them to build me something of my own. So I designed this in Photoshop. Of course, this is for Illusion of Time, my favourite game ever. So they actually put a light in the background on this one, which is really cool. And if you can hear that, they also put a little sound chip in the back as well, and it plays the music from the save room in the game. So that is just amazing. But what they've actually said is that if you leave a comment down below on what game you would like to be turned into a frame like this, then I can go through all of the comments on there, pick a winner, and pass your details onto Archives, and they will actually make one of these for you free of charge. So that is the competition that's running in this video, and if you want to check out their website, I'll put a link in the description as well. So with that said, now let's get started with the insane amount of pickups that I've got to show you guys and girls. Here we go. And where am I even going to begin? There is so much really cool stuff that I've got recently. Let's start with some Game Boy Advance homebrew games. Yes, I'm finally moving away from the original Game Boy and getting into some GBA games as well. So there's one GBA homebrew game in particular that I've been looking for years and years, and finally the developer actually put some more copies up for sale. So as soon as I saw that on Twitter, I jumped at the chance to finally get my own proper physical copy of Anguna. This is one of the original homebrew games from way back in about 2007 or 8, I believe. And there you go, that's what the cartridge looks like. I'll have to show the boxes like this because unfortunately I can't access my light box that I used to use for these pickups videos. So I will just cover up my face a little bit so you can see the packaging as well. Really nice packaging, and like I said, I'm so excited to get into GBA homebrew games finally. And the next one, does this count as a homebrew game? I guess it kind of does. This was another one that I'd been looking for a long time, and it finally came up on a website. I can't remember where it was. It wasn't actually on Pico's site. It was on a very old Windows 95 kind of website. If I find out where I got it from, I'll put a link in the description. This game is called Broken Circle, made by Seven Ravens. And I actually showed this off in a video last year when I talked about some unreleased GBA games. So when I found out that the unreleased game had actually been picked up by Pico, and it had been re-released a few years ago, but it was always out of stock. So it's always been on my wish list ever since I found that out when I was making that video. And the cool thing about this box as well is that the cartridge comes on a really nice red cart, if it will focus. There you go. So that's what the cartridge looks like. And the game itself seems really cool as well. The website is called Good Deal Games, so go ahead and check them out, and they have a special part on their site called Homebrew Heaven. It seems like they don't get stuff in that frequently, but definitely keep an eye on it, put it in your favourites, and maybe you'll be able to pick up some gems like this when they come available. And again, have a quick look at the back of the box there. You can see it's a really nicely made box as well, and it's actually really high quality plastic material, not just like the standard cardboard that Anguna came in, so it is quite well protected as well. Now, another one that I got from Pico, I believe, and this one comes in a big box because it actually includes the manual for the NES version. This is the Wisdom Tree Collection, so it's a collection of NES games ported to the GBA, or not really ported, they're just kind of put onto the NES emulator. And as you can see at the back, it's got Pico's logo there, and there's the list of games that are on it. And obviously I just picked this one up for the collection, I'm not religious at all. And it also comes with this quiz book as well, so if you are religious, if you have read the Bible and you want to test yourself, then there is a lot of like fill in the blanks things as well, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, this was just for the collection's sake, for curiosity, and because one day I do also want to try and get every single unreleased GBA game that's got a release, or every homebrew release for the system too. So once again, when I saw that one pop up, I really didn't have a choice to pick it up, really. And the last one that I've got here, also from Pico, and I haven't had a chance to play this one yet. This is called Custodian. And there's a look at the box there. and it looks like a cool action game. I'll try and give it a go. I still haven't got all of my consoles and capture stuff set up properly. If you can see down there, my TV is actually just over there on the floor, not even plugged in. So I haven't really had a chance to play a lot of these games or actually capture things at the minute, because we're still very much in the process of building the house just outside of this room. So apologies for that, but I hope you're enjoying seeing all of these really cool things that I've got, and hope you're taking some notes as well, because these are definitely really hard to find games, and if you want to try and find them, add them to your wish list, add them to your eBay searches. And talking about games that come up on eBay searches, here's another one that I've been looking for years. This is Robopon 2 Cross version. And the reason I got this is one of the other games that I needed for my Quintet series retrospective. And this is quite possibly their final game. And I'll show you why I was so excited about getting that game. We'll just put that in the analog pocket here so I can show you. And if you've ever played any of Quintet's games before, you'll know instantly why I knew this was a Quintet game in disguise. It doesn't say it was made by Quintet, it just says that it was made by... it's not loading. The analog pocket is not the most reliable GBA. So even though it says the game was made by Atlas, Quintet actually did a lot of the development for the game behind the scenes. And if I just boot the game up here, you'll be able to see straight away why anyone who's played any of Quintet's games before will know that that's the case. The game itself is a pretty typical turn-based RPG where you're building a set of monsters to try and attack, and it has a kind of Lufia-style battle system, but I just want to get to the town and I can show you what the speech bubbles look like. Have a look at that font. That is typical Quintet font, and when I saw the screenshots for this game, I knew I had to track it down, and it is very expensive as well, and I actually got it for a really good price. Someone tried to outbid me at the last second, and I just managed to get it, so I'm so excited. Of course, it is only the cartridge. There was no box or manual, unfortunately, but maybe in the future I can upgrade and then sell this to get some of the money back from it. And what shall I show you next? Let's actually show you a system, and I'm actually borrowing this system. So some of you might recognise that logo. Yes, that is Deadpan Robot's logo, and I was so excited when I found out the other day, thanks to just scrolling around on Instagram, that they've actually opened up a shop. So if you don't know, Deadpan Robot is a company that makes loads of modding things for Game Boys, and they always used to have stalls at the different gaming markets and events that I used to go to. But for the past few years, I haven't seen them at any of them shows. So when I saw it come up on Instagram that they had a shop, and not only that, I mean, I was planning to go and see them wherever they were in the UK. It's actually in Birmingham, which is just down the road from me, so I could not be happier. So I went down there as soon as the shop opened up, basically, and I bought a few games, actually. I bought these two Game Boy games off them. So I got Mysterium, which is an American Game Boy game that I didn't have in my collection, so that is really cool to have. It's like a dungeon crawling 3D into the screen game, and it's pretty interesting, and I just picked this one up because I was kind of struggling to find things that I didn't already own. This is Bust-A-Move Millennium for the Game Boy Color, so I picked those two up, but the most exciting thing that I got from the shop is actually something that the owner is lending me for a while, and that is actually his very own modded Neo Geo Pocket Color. And I was looking at this for ages because I've always wanted to get into the Neo Geo Pocket Color, but my one obviously isn't modded, and the backlight, or the lack of backlight, makes it really difficult to see what's going on with the games. So after he lent this to me, I was away all week with work up in Edinburgh, and I took this with me, and every night after work, when I got back to the hotel, I would play a little bit of Neo Geo, and I've finally been getting into Card Fighters Clash for the first time. So if you've ever played a Neo Geo, you'll know that that's one of the best games on the system. And I've actually been really enjoying it. I'm a good few hours in now. But as well as that, he also let me borrow this, which is a Neo Geo flash card, which you can actually use the USB port on the side there to plug it into the computer. A switch at the top just there that you can actually switch from one to the other, and you can store two different games on this. One of the games is his, and I was told not to touch it because it's got his save file on, so I was a bit scared of that. But on the other side, I overwrit, I think it was Sonic Pocket Adventure, because I've already got that game. I actually downloaded a fan translation of Mega Man Power Battle, which I was really excited to play, because that's a game I've wanted to play for a long time. And it is actually a game I was looking for in Japan and didn't manage to find. So to be able to put that on the flash card and actually play the Neo Geo Mega Man game on a handheld with a colour screen is just so cool, and I'm really grateful that he let me borrow it. And I'll actually be working with him and the shop and coming up with some ideas for him, and maybe doing a few collaborations in the future as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. He's got loads of plans for expanding it and making it more entertaining and getting different guests and getting people like modding consoles there and stuff. It's going to be so cool, so definitely go and check it out if you can. And yeah, I'm just really excited that something like that has come this close to home, so really looking forward to going back and visiting again soon. And like I said, I'll be doing a lot with them too, so thank you so much for letting me borrow this, and I can't wait to go back. And from one amazing shop to another, this is a shop that I went to while I was in Edinburgh, and I'd wanted to go to this game shop several times, but by the time I'd finished work in the office, the shop was always closed, so I actually had an extra day in Edinburgh this time around to go and have a look around the shop, and it's called Backtracks, and the shop is just crazy. It is so jam-packed with stuff. It was so cramped, in fact, I even had to take my bag off just to be able to walk around inside. Just have a look at this and just see how insane it is. The owner had to stand on a chair to be able to talk to me at one point. It's just crazy. But it was a really cool shop, and I managed to pick up 2 games that I didn't have. So the first one for my Game Boy collection is Side Pocket. Not really anything super exciting, and it didn't have the manual, but it did have the cartridge and box protector there. And it is a UKV one as well, so I definitely got that for the collection. And the other game, surprisingly, I'd never actually had this one because I love Toy Commander. This is another game in the Toy series for the Dreamcast. This one is called Toy Racer. I'm really looking forward to giving this one a go. And actually, I kind of forgot about this, but that brings me on to the next thing I got, which I'll have to go over there to pick up, so give me 1 second. I actually got this recently, a new Dreamcast, and for several reasons. Number one, the Dreamcast that I used to have kind of stopped working. Every few minutes the screen would go really fuzzy, so I got a new one just to fix all of those issues. I made sure all the capacitors have been re-cleaned and the circuit board's been re-cleaned and stuff. But as well as that, it's also fully modded too, so I can play Japanese and American games on here as well. And I was really excited about that because I can finally start recording footage from a load of Japanese Dreamcast games that I got while I was in Japan. So the other night, after that Dreamcast turned up in the post, I was really enjoying playing things that I'd had in my collection for a long time but never been able to, like Syvaria 2, which is a really cool vertical scrolling shooter, and another one, of course, Trigger Heart Exelica, which was one of my favourite games on the Xbox Live Arcade, and I'm so happy now to finally be able to play the original version of it on the Dreamcast. They're both fantastic shoot-em-ups, so if you're into your shoot-em-ups, definitely check these two out. But I did actually get a few new Dreamcast games as well, which I hadn't been able to play for a while, so let me grab this pile here. I've got 3 here. This one, Vanishing Point. I can't remember where I picked this one up actually, but it seems like a fairly competent racing game. And another racing game I got that I've not been able to play until now was Daytona USA 2001. Another really cool game, of course, a Sega arcade classic, although the controls do seem a little bit overly twitchy. And the final game here, I haven't had a chance to try this one yet, but it's one that back in the day I always thought looked really interesting. It's called Coaster Works, Build the Ride of Your Life, and I used to be a huge fan of things like Theme Park World on the PC, Roller Coaster Tycoon and all that sort of stuff. So to get a roller coaster building game on the Dreamcast is very interesting, at least, so I'm looking forward to trying that out. But they are just a few of the normal Dreamcast games that I got, but there is this stack of Dreamcast games that I got here from the Birmingham gaming market a few weeks ago, and these are actually all homebrew games for the system, and I have played all these, and I'll probably do a full video about them in the future, but just for now, give you a little bit of an idea of what they're about. So the first one is called Xenocider, and this is by far the most impressive out of the bunch. This one is a fully 3D arcade-style action game. I thought it was going to be kind of like Planet Harriers or Star Fox, but it's actually really different. So you press L and R to shift your character from left to right, kind of on rails, and then you can actually aim your reticle with the analog stick, and you have to shoot the enemies, and you can have 2 different power-ups on either side, so it's really interesting. But as well as that, there's a few other modes as well. There's a mode which is actually like Star Fox, which is what I thought the whole game would be like, and there's also a 3D recreation of Space Harrier on there too, so really, really impressed by Xenocider. Definitely check that out if you've got Dreamcast. The next one is Yeah Yeah Beavis 2, and of course this one's been flying around the internet a lot lately thanks to John Riggs working on this. This is actually a NES game that's just been put onto an emulator on the Dreamcast, so it doesn't really push the system to any particular new heights, but it does seem like a really fun game from what I've played so far. A really nice, kind of simple single screen arcade game. And here's another one that's been advertised very heavily. This one is called Intrepid Izzy. And the thing that immediately grabbed my attention with this was how smooth the graphics are. And it just seems like a really fun platforming beat 'em up as well. So definitely do a full video about that one in the future. And I'll leave that one for a second. The next one I've got here is Rush Rally Reloaded. And this is a really fun top-down rally game, kind of like Micro Machines. And that was a lot of fun to play. And the reason I left this one till last is because I didn't get this one from the Birmingham market. This one actually got sent over to me by the developer, along with a NES homebrew of theirs as well. This is Flea by Low Tech Games, and this was made using NES Maker, I believe, and again, it's a NES game that's been ported to the Dreamcast, but it is a really fun game. You basically play as this flea, and you have to collect these jars of blood as you're going across these little different platforming challenge stages. It's a really fun game, and I think he's actually mastered the art of making loads of small but really unique and distinct different levels. And that also applies to his other game that I've been playing, which is called Tapeworm Disco Puzzle for the NES. And this is a really nice box here for the NES release. And I also love the fact that he also included a soundtrack on a cassette tape as well, just like the name of the game implies. So that is really cool. I also love the fact that these retro releases are doing like retro throwbacks like that as well. So thank you so much for sending that over to me. And it was in the NES, so I just went to grab that, but it's also got a really nice, cool blue cartridge too, so really happy to have that, and I would love to get more into NES homebrew as well. So if any of you guys and girls watching know any really good NES homebrew games for me to check out, let me know down in the comments below. So on the topic of homebrew, I've got a few other really exciting things to share. So Flying Arrows for the Game Boy actually turned up today from Studio Loading. This is an early preview of the game. I have previewed it in the past, but never a physical version before, and he did also send me over this really nice handwritten letter to go along with it. And this is actually an early build of the cartridge and the game itself, so I'll be really interested to see how this compares to the final game when that's released. When I do my next preview for Game Boy Homebrew games, I'll go into this version of the game in a bit more detail, so look forward to that, and I can't wait to play the final game. It is up on Kickstarter right now, and at the time of recording there's 40 days left, so go ahead and check the link in the description if you want to back this game for yourself and make sure that you get your own physical version in the future. And another homebrew game, this one is called Jesse Yeager in Cleopatra's Curse, and this is actually a demake of a homebrew game that came out on the Mega Drive and the PC Engine a few years ago. And from what I've played so far, this has to be one of the best and most polished homebrew games on the system. I haven't really got a good way of capturing footage at the minute, but the way this looks, the way this controls, just everything about it is so smooth. And yeah, I can't wait until I've got things set up again properly so I can capture some proper gameplay. But I was playing it the other night, and at the minute I think the first 3 levels are in like working condition, and he's gave me a few passwords to jump around a bit and have a look in a bit more detail. So again, when I get round to doing my next homebrew preview video, definitely expect a really good look at Cleopatra's Curse coming very soon to the Game Boy, and check out some videos online of the Mega Drive and PC Engine version to see what to expect with this game. And I really think it is going to be a really well polished and well made game when it's finished. I was just blown away by the animation in the game, by the graphics, everything about it is just so fluid and it just looks so nice. Like, look at that. I mean, I know it's kind of difficult to show it on the screen like this, but it does seem very promising, and I can't wait to share more in the future. Wow, there's still so much more to get through. Let's see, where do I want to go next? I haven't got any more room on the table. Oh yeah, there's something here that I haven't had a chance to try out yet. I actually got this just before I moved into the house, but because I was still getting everything set up, I haven't really had a chance to turn on my gaming PC at the minute. But that, of course, is the Super Rare Mixtape Volume 2, and I did a video on the first one when that came out, and I was planning to do a video on the second one, but unfortunately I never really got around to it. But the third one's coming out very soon, so maybe I'll order that and do a video on both of them at the same time. So definitely check out Super Rare's website if you want to get yourselves a copy of the third one, because they are limited in quantity, although you can find all the games online, so it's only really if you want that physical box to go with it. And something else that I got just before we moved house, and this was actually going to be a video that could kind of fill the gap, but I didn't really get a chance to make it in the end for a few different reasons, but that was the Evercade. So I actually picked up a whole load of different cartridges for the Evercade. I've got the Namco Museum, that was one that came with the system, just full of loads of Namco classic arcade games. And then this is a really cool one. This is a Mega Cat Studios collection, which is a collection of homebrew games for the system. I really love the fact that all these homebrew games are getting put onto these cartridges as well. And the other thing I really like about these releases is the little instruction manuals that come with them as well, because they tell you a little bit about the games and about the developer and like when it was first released, and showed off some screenshots and stuff too. So a really nice little collection, and the Evercade is just a really nice little handheld as well. I also got this one that came with the system. This is the Interplay collection with Earthworm Jim and a few other games on there. Here's another homebrew one. This one has Xenocrisis and Tanglewood, which I do actually have a physical version of. That's another one that I didn't get around to. Here's another Mega Cat Studios one that I picked up. Again, full of homebrew games for different systems. And what's really cool is, if you remember a while ago, I did a video about Ronu's Tale for the NES, which was coming out soon. They actually included that same demo on this Evercade cartridge. So if you liked what you saw in my video that I did of this last year, then you can actually play that exact demo on here. So that's a really cool little addition. And the other one that I got was just another Atari collection. That is all of the Evercade games that I've got recently. Let me know if there's any others that you'd suggest. It is a really cool handheld. I don't actually know where the handheld is since I moved house, so unfortunately I can't show you any gameplay, but I thought at least I could tell you about what I've picked up for it. Here's something else that I picked up from the Birmingham gaming market. This is Choro Q on the Japanese N64. I've always been really fascinated by these Choro Q games, and from what I've played so far, the little bit of time that I've had to actually play anything because of everything that's going on in life at the minute, it does seem like a really cool game. And obviously the N64 had so many different racing games. I've actually been thinking of trying to get all the racing games for the N64 and then kind of do a video, something like a tier list, maybe like best to worst retro racing games for the N64 or something. So let me know if you'd be interested in that in the future. And I told you this is going to be a big video. I've also got a huge stack here of really interesting, unique, kind of difficult to find Nintendo 3DS games. So when the shop was closing down, I kind of panicked a bit and thought I better get as many games as I can before they all go up in price. So I managed to find some really cool games for the system. The first one is Stellar Glow, which is a strategy game made by the same people that made the Luminous Arc games for the DS, I believe, which are really cool games. In fact, I actually included some of them in my top DS games video. So I'm really looking forward to trying out this 3DS version here and seeing how much they improved. I also got Fire Emblem Conquest. I know there's another one as well, I think Birthright, which I need to try and track down. Andro Dunos 2, of course, I did a video review of that one a few weeks ago, so if you're interested in seeing what this is like, quite possibly the final 3DS game ever released, then go and check that video out. I also got Rayman 3D. Not really that exciting. Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King. Somehow I haven't played this Dragon Quest game, and I know a lot of people say it's the best one, so really excited to try that whenever I've got a chance to really get stuck into a new RPG. I don't know when that will be though, because the RPG that I'm playing at the minute is this one, 7th Dragon Code VFD, and I know it's got a crazy name. It is actually a really cool turn-based JRPG for the system and published by Sega, and it also has music by Yuzo Koshiro, so there is actually a really good pedigree behind this game, and from what I've played so far, it has a really cool story and atmosphere, and it's really fast to play as well. I love the pacing on the game. I also picked up Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I got Sonic and the Lost World, Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed, Doodle Jump, Miitopia, and a game that I'd never heard of before, Tenkai Knights Brave Battle. So there's the 3DS games that I picked up. Let me know which ones of those you thought sounded interesting. And two more 3DS games here. These are two that I picked up at the Birmingham Gaming Market as well. This is one that I've been looking for a long time. This is Cave Story 3D. Maybe not the best version of Cave Story ever, but I am looking forward to giving it a go. I haven't given it a go just yet, so let me know whether you've actually played Cave Story 3D before. And the other one here, this is one that I know people really enjoy. This is Fantasy Life, made by Level 5, and from what I've heard, it's one of the best games on the whole system. And it is a big time sink as well, so I don't know when I'll be able to get around to playing that one. I just found this as well, so if you remember in the intro to this video I showed off this really cool Illusion of Time artwork. There was something else that I found that someone was making for Illusion of Time, and this was actually thanks to ChronoMoogle on Twitter for telling me about this. I actually got this custom-made little Will statue here, which I think is just absolutely amazing. He's one of my favourite game characters, and to get this nice little statue here from Etsy called Manda's Mysteries, so definitely check out her Etsy shop. There's loads of different ones. There's ones from Chrono Trigger, Lufia, of course Illusion of Time or Illusion of Gaia. So definitely go and check them out. I'm really pleased with it. And it's such a great addition to my Quintet collection as well. I'm so happy with it. And the final few things in this video, this is something else that I'm trying to collect recently. And these are very slowly turning up, even though I ordered them ages ago. These are the limited run Game Boy releases. So I got Amazing Penguin here. I got Spanky's Quest. It's kind of weird, the games that they're choosing for it. Of course, I managed to get Shantae, which came in a big special edition, which is actually up there, and I think I showed that off in a previous video. And the most recent one that came through, and I haven't had a chance to open this one up yet, this is Tailgater as well. And if you didn't know, I've actually just started a podcast as well. I've done 13 episodes so far, and I think they're all really interesting topics. They're kind of more laid back than these videos, so if you can't get enough of Retro Break and you want to listen to me ramble on for around half an hour a week, then go ahead and check out the Retro Break podcast. I do video versions as well as the fact that it should be available on every podcast platform. So just go ahead and search for Retro Break wherever you listen to the podcasts. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought was the most interesting game in this video. And of course, like I said, let me know what game you would like to be made into a frame by Archives as well. And I'll draw the winner in a few weeks' time and pass your details on to them. So fingers crossed that you can win that. If you want to support me further, check out Patreon to join all the people going across the bottom of the screen. And if you enjoyed this pickups video and want to see more, then click the link up here to go and check out the playlist. There's 70 pickups videos that I've done on this channel now, which is just insane. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again very soon. Goodbye.